Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is KidNateBloodyElbow.com, joined once again by the inevitable, the ineffable, the ineluctable Eugene S. Robinson, author of Fight Everything You Ever Wanted is Something, 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 and lead singer of Oxbow, Thin Black Duke, top 10 lists all around the world, including RollingStone.com, which does anybody care about? The Needle Drop, on the other hand, loved it too. So that's much more important.
Anthony Infantino, and there was always inevitably that guy who would say, "Oh, you realize he's an alt-right guy?" It's like, look, I don't know that, and plus he's got 1.5 million fans, and
that was a bullshit hit job that was founded on nothing.
Yep.
So dude is not an alt-right guy.
And I tell you, if Goebbels or other Nazis would help me sell a couple
don't
million,
need to go. I got it for your own good. I got it.
No, I want to get it in early, so nobody could accuse me of slacking.
You're ready to work.
But I used to talk about Ottow Skorzeny and how he was working for the Mossad, and people used to laugh at me. Well, there were articles out the other day about how.
And who is Ottow?
Ottow Skorzeny was a guy. It was the Nazi adventurer who rescued Mussolini after the first time. Did this? Flew a glider in and got him out of there. And he had been tracked down by the Mossad, and he was picked up by this couple, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get sexy. Let's go back to your place." And he just pulled a gun on them as soon as he got to his place. He's like, "Nah, I don't believe it." And they said, "Okay, yeah, we are Mossad, but if we want you dead, you would have already been dead already. We want you to work for us." And they got him to start killing the German rocket scientists who were working for the Egyptians.
I see.
Strange bedfellows, which I had been talking about. People are like, you're crazy. Nazis didn't work for Israel. Oh, yes, they did. Up to and including the Nazis who used the rat lines to escape from Germany at the end of the war, straight through fucking Tel Aviv. But whatever.
And you gotta point out to people that Nazis, like everyone else, become amazingly flexible in their ideology and alliances after their entire empire collapses. So
no, they were corporatist, opportunist pigs. So
like many of us, but. Yeah. You don't have to be a Nazi.
Like Glenn Danzig said, Wolverines in dark brown suits.
I see. Or Glenn Danzig. But anyway, we're not here for that. We're here for the UFC 222 Care Don't Care preview. What's your general care level on this card?
Well, I mentioned it here at Jiu-Jitsu, which is where I am now, and everybody was like, "What? What fight? What fight? There's a fight?" And then I said, "Yeah, it's Bryan Ortega against Frankie Edgar," and they all kind of went.
Did you say, hey, it's Cyborg against some chick? Did you try that one?
I didn't try that. And then somebody said, Ortega, and then the reigning black belt here goes, I don't know. And another guy said, "Oh, he's the guy who trains with that prick who I hate." And I go, "Which prick that you hate?" He goes, "Henner." I go, "Is Henner the guy who gives away belts online?" They were like, "Yeah." And then another guy said, "Can I have that email address?" Because
see, what a touching story. What a touching.
What are you saying? So Sarau was giving me, he doesn't like me telling tales out of school.
Well, I think it's technically slander that I should probably have stepped in and stopped.
Yeah, slander is if I say it, libel is if I write it, right?
And what if you broadcast it? Alexi couldn't answer that question the other day. I don't know.
What if okay, that's just.
I assume it's libel, but anyway, allegedly, throw in some allegedlys. Let's just.
It's libel.
Rewind that and just sprinkle allegedlys all over it. So
allegedly what? You mean if I go online, I can't get a black belt?
Well, I just say we're not getting into the proving the case against said dude who you didn't quite say. I don't know who you're talking about. How would anybody even know who you were talking about? I couldn't.
There could be lots of people named Henner.
And I'm a subject matter expert. This is one of those mysteries in a box.
Yeah.
But there's a couple. I do want to hit you up. I want to tell people now, usually the off-topic tangents are random, but today I do want to pick your brain about the new HR Finding Joseph I documentary about the Bad Brain singer. So have you seen that?
I have seen it. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Have you seen the band in DC, the movie by the rest of the band?
No, that I haven't seen.
Me neither. All right. So, but we'll get to that later. First up, this card's Saturday night. Sometimes it's Sunday and we don't tell you, but this time we know when it's happening. Saturday night, Las Vegas. 3 fights on Fight Pass, 4 fights on Fox Sports 1, and 5 fights on pay-per-view, which I believe is $69.95 at this point.
Yeah,
like
fuck that.
10 years ago, a UFC pay-per-view was $39.
Yep.
And you might get Liddell and Couture.
And that's why I could sleaze it viewing it at somebody's house when it was $39, because I would say, "Hey, buddy, you want $8?" And they'd be like, "Oh, no." But now when it's like $69, people usually get out, yeah, fuck you, 8, give me 15, and you could sit down and watch
it.
So.
Exactly. And I'll need that now in cash.
Don't get. I surrounds like sitting right. Yeah, he's like sitting next to me. He's like, yeah, everything I say is.
You're in his gym.
Look, he's shaking his head. He's like,
You're in the men's gym. You're in the men's gym.
What?
Ask him when you're getting your black belt.
Oh, he wants me to ask you something. Okay, he says, when am I getting my black belt? I think this is a show and not a tell.
Hey, start to come over for one. You have to come over here for training for 1 week. 1 week.
No, when does Eugene get his black belt?
When do I get my black belt? Not him.
Eugene, maybe 20 years more. My kid will be a black belt first than him.
Okay, but he's giving you
just for a reference point. His child is 10 months old.
Well, there you go. But it's good to have realistic goals, and you got targets, and you know what you need to work on, and that's mentoring.
So by the time I'm 76, I'll be one of those guys you'll be reading about online, and there'll be like this cute little picture of me with like one eye blind and a little hook and a cane. It's like 76-year-old black belt Eugene S. Robinson. Everybody will think it's cute.
It'll be lovely. All right, so we've got 3 fights on Fight Pass, starting with light heavyweight.
Disclaimer.
My bad.
I'm like the only professional in this room here. So
you gotta give the disclaimer.
Crybabies, bedwetters, work-shy individuals, grumblers, malingerers, greedy bread gobblers. This has less to do with your skills and talents as a fighter, and much more to do with the marketing heft and weight that WME, IMG, and the Bald One have put behind you. You want to get off the don't care list? Easy. Fight an exciting fight, and that means not a unanimous decision fight. Until then, don't come crying to us bedwetters. And it is possible to get off that list. Israel, he came off the list. Paul Felder came off that list. Chris Colliard-Greens came off that list. Alaya Quinta came off. Alex Oliveira. These were all don't cares who became cares. It can be done.
It's a very touching story, inspiring to all. And for some reason, I have a feeling like this card, some of these people might need to take those lessons to heart because I want to make a prediction. I'm going to go out there, Eugene. I'm predicting goose egg. I'm predicting you are not going to care about a single fight on this card.
That's fucking bold, but you know what? You have cleverly, you've been paying attention, and you've noticed a darker turn in my sentiments in regards to the UFC, because it's like, it's like being at an orgy, right? If you're at
Don and Salela.
No, you can't. If you're at the orgy and the guy who's sponsoring the orgy is not at the orgy, you got problems.
That is wisdom there. That is experiential wisdom. If the host of the orgy
is not at the orgy, then you know it's a bad orgy. So I look around the cage and I don't see the bald one sitting there cage side. I know we got problems.
I've never been to an orgy, but I have been to a Coke party one time, and the host / provider of said Coca-Cola was not touching his own product. He was sleeping in early because he had to get up for a marathon the next morning. And so we saw him like 8 or 9, and again at 5 a.m. when he got up to train. To make sure everybody had enough, their glasses of Coca-Cola were full.
A buddy of mine decided he was too heavy and he needed to train. So he started training with his highfalutin personal trainer. And the personal trainer at one point says, "Hey, buddy, what do you do for a living?" And my friend says, "Actually, I sell Coca-Cola." And the guy goes, "Maybe you could flow me some of the Coca-Cola in exchange for." And so at first he, once a month he gave him a little Coca-Cola. And it was
like he put a soda machine in the gym there?
Or? Yeah, something like that. And then it was once a week. And then he stopped seeing his personal trainer.
Oh, yes.
I didn't like that,
That's how it works out. That's how
completely turned him. Fuck that personal trainer, man. I'm just gonna drink this soda right up through my nose.
And the weight just melts off. That's the thing. I can tell you, I've seen it firsthand that
I've always been mystified about fat cokeheads. How's that happen?
I'm also mystified about dudes who like are sex fiends and cokeheads at the same time, because I know for me it's like nothing's happening with that. So
soda's dangerous, man.
It is. Yes. All right. So All right.
Okay. So you're saying 0, and I respect your opinion. Let's go.
All right. Let's see. Light heavyweight Jordan Johnson versus Adam Mistead.
Don't give a shit.
Nope. Don't care. No, don't care. Bantamweight Cody Stamann versus Bryan Caraway.
You have officially frozen. Say it again.
Am I back? Am I back?
You're back. Yeah.
Cody Stamann, this is bantamweight, versus Bryan Caraway. Miesha Tate's next.
Former Mr. Miesha Tate, who's made news recently for saying publicly that she's lost interest in John Jones. Somebody had to say it because we all felt it. But I like his response.
Jones's response. Yeah.
What else can because fundamentally, what he said is, I got nothing else going on, so for the short term, here I am. So fuck it, I'll take my lumps, which is where you got to be. But Bryan Caraway, without the Miesha Tate's bikini photos, somebody I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah. So, all right, welterweight.
Even though stamen is an important part of a flower.
I'm glad you're giving us these signs. The viewers are all saying you're going to cynically start finding cares under rocks and everywhere else. So they're expecting up to 5 cares.
I got your reverse psychology thing. Forget it. It's just not going to work.
I see.
I'm like in that World War II joke about the Italian army. I am the German tank. Tank. I'm just going ahead as is. I don't care.
I see. All right. Well, see, you didn't even notice that was clever reverse psychology on my part. Yeah. Preempting your artificial cares.
Oh, I double back on your double back. So
well, yes. Now you are, but what am I? 6 to glue bounces off me. Rubber. All right. Welterweight Zach Ottow, Mike Pyle.
I like both these guys, but all right, man. See, I apply the kitchen glass of wine test, and if I'm in the kitchen pouring a glass of wine, so because Zach Ottow and Mike Pyle, I don't give a shit. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry,
I mean, especially if there's like peanut butter cups or I don't know, granola bars, anything back there.
And you know what a good indicator is? The people who tweet me at Eugene S. Robinson, people who tweet me during the fight about the fights I should be watching. That'll motivate me. Like if I'm actually in the kitchen and somebody goes, "Oh shit, you said," I go, "Oh yeah, I'll take a look at the screen," right? So, but I guarantee you, there's going to be nobody who's fucking tweeting me about Zach Ottow versus Mike Pyle.
It seems highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. And Reebok's going to prevent Pyle from emerging in any kind of grape smuggling outfit. So middleweight. This one's a close one. This one I wrestled with in my head. The next 2, or actually 3. Middleweight, CB Dollaway versus Hector Lombard. Now, once upon a time, this would have been a definite care.
Yeah, but you know what this is? You know what we call this on the show Stomper? We call this place Event Horizon. The fight after which there are no more fights.
In Lombard's case, I believe it was the drug test failure after which there were no more.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not enough to get me out of the kitchen. I'm pouring another glass of fucking Merlot, man.
Yeah, I mean the Hector Lombard who got TKO'd by Anthony Smith. I'm sorry. It just
well, let's do the average guy test. Hey. Okay. You want to see Hector Lombard fight?
Yes. On these days,
yep.
Don't want to see no one fight.
He says on these days he don't want to see no one fight.
Man, he's coming out for peace. I love it. That's a bold message.
Renzo Grace against Ubu, Renzo Grace against Daniel, old people school.
Oh yeah. He says he was the old people school. There's a fight brewing in Brazil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like a standard old style meet you on the beach fight with famous fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys that you've heard of, and it's brewing online. You got to be able to speak Portuguese, and these guys are leaving like voice messages via tweet, and they're actually end of April, beginning of May, meet on the beach at fucking Copacabana and fight it out like big names, guys you've heard of.
But you're not going to tell us, even though it's public information. If we can,
well, it rhymes with benzo.
I see. And who's his opponent?
We can do that in another show.
Yeah, he's going to do another show.
Let's see. See you. Tune in next week to hear who Enzo Gracie may be fighting.
I didn't say anything about Enzo.
I did. I
said Benzo.
I'm connecting the dots. I'm jumping to conclusions. Okay.
Okay.
No, I didn't mention that we already jumped to the Fox Sports 1 card.
Sure.
But yeah, Hector Lombard's 0-4 in his last 4 fights. So, like what's he still doing in the UFC? And Dollaway would be 0-4, but he beat a pretty spent Ed Herman by decision last time.
And then he's also had that big PR fucking black eye thing. Wasn't he talking recently about how he's like just some shit that made you feel sorry for him about the elevator thing. I got fucked up by the elevator and I'm kind of, Jesus Christ. Now I feel sorry for you. You know what? If I want to feel sorry for somebody fighting, I'll put my grandmother in the cage, I'm not going to fucking fight this guy. Fuck him.
Yeah. Sorry. There you go. All right. So next, this is another one that I was sort of anxious about that might be a care. Bantamweight, Pedro Munhoz versus John Dodson, the magician.
Yeah, that's another one. Another Event Horizon thing. John Dodson is misty as fucking fuck. What is this thing that he said yesterday that just made me hang my head? Let's see if I can find it, because I keep notes about. I have a whole running list of misty as fuck, and he was on it. Here we go. He said, you have to his UFC 222. John Dodson full pre-fight interview. It's on YouTube. 5 minutes in, he's just busted loose, misty as fuck, and then Davey from ABQ says, "Man, correction, #complete missed." So,
I see. So,
his high point clearly was against Mighty Mouse, and that's done.
Yeah, or knocking out TJ Dillashaw.
Right. What is that great line? Even when I was close to defeat, I rose to my feet. Yeah, some guys don't do that.
Yeah. No. So, yeah. All right.
Just for the edification, for the people paying attention, giving a shit about what we're not giving a shit about, this is the tote sheet so far.
So far for you, but I actually want to go back. I want to add a care for CB Dollaway and Hector Lombard and a care for this fight. I didn't say I wouldn't have any cares. I said you wouldn't. Because I'm just like, I know these guys.
Right, so who you picking between CB Dollaway and
Lombard's going to beat the fuck out of him if Lombard hasn't completely atrophied.
Okay, so you're picking Lombard, and then what about this other one here?
I'm picking Dodson over Munoz. I think he's just got more speed and a better skill set.
I think that's the same.
You can't make a pick on a fight you don't care
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just supporting your pick, but I don't care about it.
All right, thank you. All right, now this is going to be a hard one, Eugene. This is going to be a hard one. Lightweight, Alexander Hernandez. So far, you don't care. Your boy Beneil Dariush.
Oh yeah, I care.
Damn it.
Yeah, I care.
The Zionism.
No, because he's a friend of Knuckle Up. Yeah, it could be
the nepotism.
It could be Zionism, and that's a good blue, man. I like that. Right. Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that sweatshirt? That's a good blue. Anyway,
Pricing sweatshirts. You're shooting down. I mean, this guy's coming off a draw and a loss.
Beneil? You're not going to pick Beneil?
Now I'm telling you that it's bullshit to care about this fight. I mean,
fuck that, man. The guy's a friend of. He's a friend of.
Personal friend of the show. I get that. And shared commitment to both sides of the Jordan River.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. In answer to your question, Maddie G says slander versus libel in broadcasting. As with all legal questions, it depends. Some states have designated it, quote, defamation by broadcast, end quote, even if the material is not read from a transcript.
I see. Very interesting. So, man, the whole no cares thing shot down by Beneil Dariush, but I can tell you it's not selling any pay-per-views because it's on Fox Sports 1.
So what are you doing? You gonna pick or not?
I don't care. You can pick if you want to, but I do not care about this fight. I'm sorry. Dariush is another win-loss dude on YouTube on Wiki at this point. Coming off a draw. I mean, really, a draw.
Stop it. Anyway, the man took a time out from his busy schedule to talk to me. That's enough.
I respect that. So you're picking him?
Yeah, I picked him.
Okay. All right. So now we're back to women's strawweight. Anthony Yoder versus Mackenzie Dern.
Sorry, no, not enough.
Yeah, sorry, ladies. All right, now we're to the pay-per-view card, and we're going to tote how much we care and how much we'll spend on this card. Women's bantamweight, Kat Zingano versus Kate Caitlin Vieira. Once upon a time, I cared about Kat Zingano.
Yeah, and she's been saying misty shit recently, like she forgot that she is Kat Zingano at this point. I mean, there was something about being on a roller coaster and having to get off that roller coaster, you know, was like really important, significant momentum, I think is a word that was lost. And, you know, you're talking, it's like Greg Kinn trying to get top billing on Oxbow. It's like, yo, bro, hey, man.
Where are you playing? Magic Land on the shores of the lake?
Exactly, man. On Lake Merritt. I guess you missed out on the 90s and the 2000s.
Has Greg Kinn played after sundown in a while? Doesn't he usually play afternoon shows in parks? Or
yeah.
So the food court at the mall.
So I'm sorry. I mean, I had great hopes once upon a time for the Zingano, and those have been all fucking.
You know how many times she's fought since 2014?
There you go. Kind of on a Conor McGregor-esque schedule.
Except without the Conor McGregor-esque fan interests. So.
Yeah, correct. So
yeah,
I don't care. So
yeah, no, sorry, I don't either. And now that's a 0 so far for the pay-per-view. All right, now we've got heavyweight Stefan Struve versus Andrei Arlovski.
Oh man, are you fucking kidding me?
No, man, this is like Struve. I like the guy, good fighter. Every time he gets in the cage, I'm worried he's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I really have mixed feelings about him risking his health. I don't know the details on his health issues. And Arlovski, the last time I cared about Arlovski was before his third fight with Tim Sylvia or when he got knocked out by Fedor. And that's been a long ass time ago. I mean, dude reeled off a 5-fight losing streak in the UFC.
Yeah.
Not that long ago. I mean,
what's funny? What's funny about this is that, you got the bald one talking about how he can't support this idea of a trilogy between Ortiz and Liddell, but perfectly okay rolling Arlovski out there. Nah,
and Struve, who's had massive health problems.
Yeah, I can't sign on for this one, man.
No.
It makes me feel bad that you even said it.
So you can blame me.
Not you. You're just you're just the messenger, I
see. All right. So now we've got $0 for that. We're 2 fights in, $0 on the paper. Bantamweight Sean O'Malley versus Andrei Soukhamthath.
Nope, sorry. The fact that the handy dandy key is that when you can't pronounce a guy's name,
that doesn't tell you anything because I personally know people whose names I can't pronounce. So,
how do you pronounce my name?
With a Gene, Gene.
I had a teacher in high school who was like, take it. Mr. Caballero was actually his name, and he's like attendance. He goes, okay, Eugene Robinson. I was outraged, and then I was like, Robinson, the fuck did you get that wrong? And then I could see this little smile on his face. I go, oh, I'm being clowned by the gym teacher. Okay, all right, wise guy.
You can respect his game. So, yeah, I mean, Soukhamthath, this isn't even a hot prospect. This is a guy who's 1-3 in this UFC run. Like, how are you getting promoted to pay-per-view? The other guy's undefeated though. Sean O'Malley might actually be of interest, but
might
his one win.
I might win a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah. Here's his resume. He won Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series Part 2, and then he won the Ultimate Fighter. So, or he didn't win the tournament, but he won a fight on that card. So this is completely one of Dana White's special hype projects, and he's given a can. So, yeah. If I trusted Dana White for anything, then maybe. But, sorry. Yeah. All right, now we're to the co-main event.
Co-main event. Okay.
And this was supposed to be the fight on the card. I mean, this was supposed to be Frankie Edgar versus Max Holloway. Title fight and fight, everything. But instead, it's Frankie Edgar versus Bryan Ortega.
I care. Sorry.
Ooh, these are daggers in my heart, Eugene. I went out on a limb to say no cares, and
because I fucking love Bryan Ortega, man. Despite the hate that he got here earlier, I love Bryan Ortega.
He is undefeated. And I
love his jiu-jitsu,
Yeah. And he's got some names here. He's beat Thiago Tavares, Diego Brandao, Clay Guida, Renato Moicano, and Cub Swanson back to back with 3 fight of the nights in there. So yeah, I gotta say I care too.
However, there's a catch. Right?
Is it worth pay-per-view money?
Correct. And I care, but I $15 care,
That's pretty generous. I'd say this is a $10 care, man. I mean, because this isn't a title fight. I mean, this is an important fight. This would be a great pay-per-view opener, or a number 3 fight on a pay-per-view card. But the co-main, I mean,
all right.
Let's talk about Justify and.
Whoa, not yet. Are you gonna pick? Because I gotta
pick Ortega, man.
Okay.
Frankie.
So you're gonna pick Ortega. I picked Ortega, but you're going in for $10.
I'm going in for $10.
Okay. All right.
I'm kind of torn now. I think Frankie might have a good skill set to beat him.
Well, I mean, we know what he's going to do. There's no surprise about this, right?
He's surprised. The details of how he does it sometimes surprise people.
He's going to take him down, and he's going to try to fucking elbow him into fucking into smithereens.
I don't think so. I think Frankie's going to try to keep this on the feet and
that would be smart. That would be smart.
Yeah, Frankie's. That's because he's a boxer wrestler. He can do at either place. He can determine whether. And why would you go down into Bryan Ortega's guard? I mean, that's just stupid. So I mean, his guillotine is. He's got 2 straight wins by guillotine. I mean, I don't need that. But now let's talk about HR and Finding Justify, which I found on Amazon the other day. How many times did you see the Bad Brains back in the day?
Oh my God. Well, if you've ever seen that Band of DC concert film where they played 3 nights at CBGB's, you will have seen me all 3 nights in the audience on the stage, actually having changed clothes at least twice. So,
during the show, or
no, that on the separate days, I wore the yellow and purple striped shirt as well as the dress shirt, the button-down dress shirt. So, no, I've seen him more times than.
Why do I get the feeling if I were to sit down and watch those movies with you, a lot of the conversation would be, "Hey, here I come, here I come. There I am, there I am." Did you see me?
I've never mentioned it. What's happened is people have come to me and said, "Hey, man, I was just watching that Band of DC thing. Was that you?" I was like, "Yeah, that was me." "Hey, man, I just saw that. Was that you?" Yeah, that was me. Yeah, so.
I see. So.
And not only that, we played with them. So.
We being Whipping Boy.
Whipping Boy, yes.
Yeah. So, you saw him a ton, all in New York.
No, I've seen him all over the place. I've seen him we played with him in Oakland. I saw him in San Francisco, saw him in LA, I think New York, and I don't think I've seen them in DC, strangely enough.
I see. And how many different eras of Bad Brains have you seen?
Oh, I fucking stopped. I saw them for the last time in 2009.
You hung on there quite a while then. I mean,
but but I was out in 83 or 84 when HR started leaving when he did put that record out on
the first reggae record.
Yeah, on Olive Tree Records. I stopped. I was out.
I see. You didn't come back for any of the Eye Against Eye stuff, or
no. In fact, my wife was like, "Oh, that's a Bad Brain. That's a Bad Brain record. What are you talking about?" She goes, "Oh, that's a Bad Brain record. The last one they did with Okasik." I go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And she's the God of Love, and I was like, "That's not." And then I never heard it. Absolutely.
Remain in Light. So you're talking about Remain in Light?
No. Actually, I'm talking about God of Love. God of Love.
Well, that's way later. That's like in the 90s, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't. Here it is. God of Love. I had no idea that existed. So you see, I have it right here on my phone. I just, and it's a noteworthy record. It's got one great song on it, actually, so which it justifies it. But
that's from 1995. So I was, you're saying you dropped out in the 80s, and I was asking if you came back for the mid 80s classics.
No. Quickness, no. Out.
I didn't like Quickness either, but Eye Against Eye. I mean, have you gone back and reevaluated Eye Against Eye since then?
Oh, no, Eye Against Eye is great. I listened to Eye Against Eye, the Ron St. Germain thing.
Yeah. But you just didn't want to deal with the bullshit of is HR going to show up or not?
Yeah, I didn't want to see another singer. It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, I've never seen any of the Dead Kennedy shows without Biafra, even though Biafra stole his entire stage act from Tomato Du Plenty, all from the Screamers. I wasn't interested. So
Let's see. I thought HR was still touring with them for most of the Eye Against Eye shows. They did other singers.
Oh yeah. But it was by the time they got to Quickness, it was
he was there for the recording and basically bailed on him right after that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so is it fair to say without HR you wouldn't have gotten into hardcore punk, or is that?
Oh no. I was there before the Bad Brains.
So what got you into
well, what you're asking is why I made the
leap from Studio 54 to CBGB.
No. Well, yeah, sort of. Why I made the jump from disco to punk rock, right? And there were two guys that I remember from the New York punk rock scene who made it over to hardcore. One was Jack Rabbit, who published the Big Takeover. He was one of the guys when I was 16. I would see him at shows. A guy named Ira, who's in the Matinee book, which is CBGB's Matinee book by Drew Carolyn. Ira, I remember from fucking early, or like 77, 78, who was fucking mean to me because I was just like a bridge and tunnel kid with no cool punk rock clothes, which I reminded him of. And Harley, these were the three that I saw him play with the Stimulators in like 78. I was like, Jesus Christ, the kid's like 10. What the fuck? How do you get a 10-year-old? And so those were the only people that made it over to hardcore.
I see. So and then the Bad Brains hit the New York scene like a bomb.
Yeah, in 70, they came up. They got kicked out of couldn't get any shows in DC. So by 80, they were making roadies to New York. But by 80, I had moved to California to go to school. So I was going to hardcore shows. I mean, it was a beautiful time seeing Fear at the California Center, and dealing with all the Plaid Party guys, the guys from Circle One. It was like, 1,000 people shows at the Olympic where you just be fucking, it'd be a running fight. There's no pit, just people fucking punching each other all over the arena. It was great. So Huntington Beach guys would roll up next to you to see you, and they'd be other punk rock guys. You go, oh, it's guys like us, and they'd be trying to hit your car with hammers. It's like, fuck you, total anarchy.
So what's your favorite Bad Brains record?
Oh, fuck. I don't know, man. There's a demo tape that I have that Jerry Williams did. That was a ROIR tape that a lot of stuff ended up re-recorded, but there was some question about whether it was Okasek who recorded it for the Remain in Light thing, or whether it was a Jerry Williams thing remixed or something. But all that stuff, the stuff with Black Dots, Send No Flowers, all that.
Yeah, the Black Dot bootleg.
Yeah.
That stuff. Yeah, that's.
You act as if you know it all. Yeah, Send No Flowers. Yeah. So
yeah. See, I could never get my hands on the Roar tape in the mid '80s in Borger, Texas. So Eye Against Eye was the first time we got to hear this band we've been hearing about, and it was a totally different thing. We loved it, but it was like I was like, this is kind of metal, This isn't like the hardcore I was expecting, but quickly was converted. And then once I got my hands on the Roar tape. That would have to be my favorite. Although these alternate mix things, there's a strong case for them. But the movie, what do you think about the movie?
The movie was great. It crossed a lot of T's and dotted a lot of I's and was in general fucking sad, But it is what it is, man. It's it takes a real I mean, we've grown up in this scene, right? And most of the people who are still rocking that, you don't want to see rocking it, I mean, Rollins said something interesting. It's like, you don't have music has you, and you see that there's nothing that Rollins could do on the stage now with music and a microphone that would be interesting at all. He's just not, and that's mostly because people are trying to recreate, which is never successful, right? It's like, there's a point at which you stop going to high school reunions, and because you figure out that you're not going to learn anything about yourself. That
I still haven't been to one. I wanted to go to the last one, but
at this point now, it's completely pointless. You're not going to learn anything about yourself that's going to make you happy. So, and your interest in going to get laid is probably zero. So there's no real point. I mean, that's why you go to the early ones. I went to one of my 5th year, my 10th year. This woman walks up to me and goes, who I knew from high school. It says, "This fucking place is a drag. You look great. Let's get out of here." And I was like, oh shit. If in the first 5 minutes my luck is this good, imagine And so it's like you gotta gamble, bird in the hand, 2 in the bush. I go for 2 in the bush, and then I end up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No hand in the bush.
Sitting with my high school biology teacher and Eric Leaf, one of the biggest Bruce Springsteen fans ever, in a bar in Brooklyn drinking. And I was like, actually, they were drinking. They were drinking, and that's when I didn't even drink. So I'm just kind of sitting there going, man, I should have gone off with Irina was her name. Should have gone off with Irina.
Oh, well, it's missed opportunity. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk about the Bad Brains because I did enjoy that movie. It whitewashed. You know about the whole Austin homophobic controversy?
Yeah, I do, but I don't think it whitewashed it. It made some mention of it, but in the greater context of him being as fucked up as he is,
I don't remember them mentioning it in the movie at all.
Yeah, I think they did because I think I was waiting for. I was ready for them to say nothing, and they kind of dismissed it. Like I had a friend who said that she was almost assaulted by Harley on a tour bus. And so I go, I don't know if this, let me ask him, and so I just went to him and said, hey man, this friend of mine, and he just paused and he said, Eugene? I go, yeah. He said, I did a lot of foul shit back in the day, man. And that's what he just like,
yeah.
Owned it, owed up to it, and was like, that was then, this is now. What can I fucking tell you?
Yeah, I mean, in Austin, being an Austin punk scene or peripheral to it, like anytime you bring up the Bad Brains, you get all these lectures, and it's just like, I get it that they fucked up and they were assholes in that situation, and it was all HR as always.
Yep.
But that's in the context of the Bad Brains and their accomplishment and their music. That's so irrelevant, and it's not like the music had anything to do with homophobia. It was just more crazy nonsense and self-sabotage from HR.
Also, we talked about this on the Showstopper this week, the difference between forgiveness and forgetting, And I'm saying that forgiveness is a fuzzy concept and is worth shit. You forget or you don't care, but forgiving is nothing I think that anybody really realistically does. And you can see it in cases like this.
I don't believe that.
Well, sorry. you should have come. What, you think forgiveness is a real thing?
I've seen forgiveness, yes.
What?
I've seen genuine forgiveness, yes.
What? Who told you? Somebody forgave you genuinely and you believed
No,
it?
forgave me, no. I mean, anybody who puts up with me long enough has forgiven all kinds of bullshit, or at least they decided to move on and ignore it. But no, I've seen people like forgive the people who murdered their parents and things like that I believe is genuine,
Yeah. But I've also seen people who've forgiven people who've murdered people close to them, and then the people who did the murdering was like,
that's always the X factor there. So yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't invest anything in HR. That's yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, he's clearly, he was clearly disturbed,
Yeah.
So
yeah, and wrapped up in a cult, frankly, and a self-help book. I mean, even the best of the Bad Brains was based off of an obsession with an obscure self-help book.
And something you can't forget is that Rastafarianism is a fucking Judeo-Christian fucking alleyway. That shit's always gonna be weird, man.
Yep, and retro.
But to me, it doesn't change. It just doesn't change the power of the fucking music. I mean, I got to tell you honestly, those 3 nights at CBGB's where I saw them every single night, those were completely revelatory, man. Because
what year was that? That was
82, 83.
82.
Man. Yep. So every fucking night, and this was like Christmas Eve, Christmas, and the day after Christmas, or something crazy like that. Yeah. That was a great year, and that was I went. Oh, this ties into you. Yeah, you go for your Let It Roll thing. That was it. That was a Christmas that was followed by the New Year's Eve that I spent at Giorgio Gomoleschi's fucking place.
Oh wow, the Disco King, the German Disco King producer Donna Summer, and David Bowie's Cat People song.
Yep. He had bought this former truck mechanics building, which completely crazy, like a 5-story building, and they had a big hole in the center where they used to use a lift elevator to take the trucks upstairs to work on them. But there was no more. I think the elevator was still there, but there were no guardrails, and the place was completely fucking dark. I'm sure not up to code at all, and it was.
That's what I imagine more under. And now I imagine that he's like got a projection of a giant head like the Wizard of Oz or something.
Something like that. And then he was there and he was just like, he was like fucking street punks. Come on in. There was some talk that Mick Jagger was there as well. And it was all right, man. It was like just completely fucking crazed that nobody fell down. And that was like, that was one of the best nights of my life for reasons.
Well, we won't ask.
Let me tell you, 3 in one night, my friend. 3, and then at 5 o'clock in the morning, I leave, or 6 in the morning, I leave, and I take one chick back to. I get her a cab because she's going to NYU. So I get her in a cab, and I go, God damn it, I should have gotten there with her, but I didn't want to get stuck having to pay because I didn't have any money. So I rode my skateboard down Fifth Avenue from like, I think it was in the 20s, and I made it all the way down to West 4th because I knew I could jump on the turnstile there without getting caught by the cops. So I rode down the middle of Fifth Avenue. It was like breakfast at Tiffany's on my Santa Cruz skateboard. It was great.
What a lovely morning that must have been for you. I was probably miserable in middle school at that point. So. Yeah. Women's featherweight title fight: Cris Cyborg versus, Yana Kunitskaya. I believe she's fought for the championship a couple times.
I care, and I'm gonna tell you why I care.
Because I'm a Cris Cyborg fan.
I'm a Cris Cyborg fan, and this has all the makings of a fucking upset. all those fights that people like sleep on, don't give a shit about. They're like, oh, she's gonna murder, like Luke Cockhold against Bisping. These fights where nobody's taking the other person seriously, like Holly Holm against Ronda. It's a pro forma fight. It's a stepping stone to something else. It's just something for the fans. There's a possibility this could be that. So I care. I'm not crazy enough to pick the Russian chick, but I care.
And she did win the Invicta Bantamweight Championship. So she's going to be undersized, but this isn't going to be like the old Strikeforce Cris Cyborg beats up an undersized Japanese woman fight. So it could be a little more competitive. Then again, it could be just a savage, vicious ass whipping by a featherweight fighter against a bantamweight. I mean, So I mean, Cyborg herself says all the good featherweights in women's featherweight are in Bellator, except her. So. So
I'll pick a Cyborg, but I have to say, sadly, I'm not fucking spending more than $10 on this, man.
No, it's for total card for me, $20 is what I would pay for this card.
All right, so that means you're putting $10 on Cyborg too.
Yeah, if it was maybe 15, 25 tops. So 15 for this and 10 for the other one.
Okay, so we come out in the same spot. I mean, the only reason I'm giving 15 to Ortega is because I'm a jiu-jitsu head. So,
Yeah. There you go. So, one last question about the Bad Brains. The thing I didn't know in that movie, there was a lot I didn't know, but the one big thing I didn't know Epic was talking about signing them before they even did the Roar tape. Yeah. Like, if the fucking Bad Brains had done their first release on Epic in 1980, they were like one of the 2 first hardcore bands. Them in the Middle Class were the first 2 hardcore singles. Yeah. And if that shit had come out on Epic before speed metal existed, before Black Flag came out, I mean, that would have been a complete fucking cultural shift.
Yeah.
The
thing is, I remember that, and I remember that mostly because who the fuck was it? Was it Daryl? It must have been Daryl who I was talking to, and they were concerned that they were going to get knacked, right? And my wife didn't know, given her reduced age, she my Sharona comes on. She goes, "Who is this?" I go, "It's a fucking knack." And she goes, "Who's the knack?" And I was like, "Oh man, but the knack." And according to Daryl, at the time they were super spooked because apparently, according to the contract, they would end up,
no approval over the production and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I guess the deal with the Knack, what he told me, and I don't know whether this is true or not, was that the Knack lost not only the rights to their band name, but their own individual names that's connected to the production of music. So it was one of those contracts. I mean, they didn't. I see. I don't know if that was true at all, but
Yeah. Well, that's a legit concern, and also my big concern would be that the production would have just sucked, and they would have been trying to make them into a new, skinny tie new wave band, and it just would not have been.
But that would have been fine, because if you see the pre-Rasta Bad Brains, that's kind of what they were doing. HR's on stage skanking. He had a skinny tie. And
that's true, but they had a lot more bass and balls, and I mean they were.
They first came to my consciousness with Pay to Come, and that marked them right away as completely, totally fucking from another planet,
Yeah, monsters. All right. Well, anyway, that's our show. So subscribe. Let's subscribe to the MMANation.com on YouTube. Subscribe to MMA Nation with no.com on iTunes. Get the audio without the ugly. Follow me on Twitter at KidNate. Follow Eugene on Twitter at Eugene S. Robinson. Watch the Show Stomper, which happens on Sunday nights, usually on the Eugene S. Robinson channel on YouTube. Watch us on If I Did It. Watch us on If the Shoes Fit on Alexi Old's channel. So, like, that's 3 YouTube channels to subscribe to already.
Yeah, if you subscribe to the Eugene S. Robinson Show Stomper channel on YouTube, you'll get notifications about the upcoming Show Stomper shows. You can kind of, if you want to donate money, you can do it through patreon.com, the Stomper. But what the weird thing is, I can't figure, if you go to the Eugene S. Robinson Show Stomper YouTube page, it says there are no videos, but then you have to click to a playlist and then you suddenly see the videos. So I haven't figured out how to make it so that when you go to the page, you just see all the videos that are there. And it's the likelihood of me figuring it out is a 0.0.
All right, I'll treat this as a cry for help, and I swear I'll take a look at it.
Okay, all right.
You might have to give me your login information.
That's fine. I give it to anybody. I don't give a shit.
Cell phone password.
Yeah. Or some guy was like, "I'll steal your credit card." I was like, "Go ahead." You know, if you could get a nickel out of that credit card company, I'll be fucking happy. You know.
All right.
You use my credit card, and it's like, click, 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 click.
No. Yeah. All right. So, and follow the MMA Vivisection, which will be on tomorrow. No, today. It'll be on later today with Zane and Connor. Zane Simon.
Zane.
Yeah. And that'll be a legit preview of this card, which those guys have put in the hours. And yeah, because this is just a big thumbs down from a promotional standpoint on this shit. All right. And that's our show. So adios, MMA aficionados. Thanks, Eugene. We'll see you next time.
All right, man. Later. Bye.